Hi, it's Andy here from Abacus Jack Accountancy. In this video, I'm going to talk about some of the practical steps that you should think about when starting a business in the UK in 2025. Hopefully, that'll give you an idea about what's involved and what your obligations and responsibilities are. So the first thing is about choosing a business structure that works for you. Now in the UK, there's typically two types of structure that you would want to consider. The first is very simple. It's what's known as being a sole trader or self-employed. This is when you as an individual, you are the business. So you don't set up a company, you just operate as yourself. Go and find your customers, record your income, record your expenses, and then you report that to HMRC each year via a self-assessment tax return. It's a really simple way to start out for running a business. The second option is to actually set up a company, or a limited company. Now this is where the company is its own legal structure. It's separate from you as an individual. And that can have certain advantages, but it does mean a little bit more administration, a few more obligations in terms of yourself being the director, and it's got different tax rules. More about that in a second. There are other structures as well, for example, a partnership, which is effectively the same as being self-employed, but when there's more than one of you. And there's structures that might be better for charitable organisations as well. You need to register your business with the authorities, and there's different ways of doing that. So if you're going to be self-employed or sole trader, then really the only thing you need to do is register with HMRC. You don't even have to do this straight away. You actually get quite a lot of time to register your business with HMRC, but you must do it by the 5th of October in the year that you start doing your business. What this basically means is that HMRC are then going to ask you for an annual self-assessment tax return. This is an annual process where you record your income and your expenses and effectively work out the profit or loss that you've made doing your business activities throughout the year. And that's what determines your tax liabilities. If you are going down the limited company route, then you would set up or incorporate that limited company with Companies House. You'd also need to tell HMRC that you're trading, and they will register you for corporation tax. Your accountant can help with all of these things. It's not a particularly complex service from an accountant and therefore not particularly expensive. So if you're unsure how to register and you want to make sure you're doing it correctly, just ask your accountant, ask us. If you haven't got an accountant, we'd love to help. Bank accounts are another really important thing to consider when starting your business and setting it up. Having a separate bank account for the business is essential. It's technically not legally required if you're operating as a self-employed individual or sole trader, but it really does make life 10 times easier. So I would recommend always having a separate bank account for your business transactions if you're self-employed. If you're running a limited company, it's actually mandatory because it will be the company that owns the bank account, not you as an individual. Now there's lots of choice out there for bank accounts these days. You've got options that are available through apps, so app-only banks, and often that's a really simplistic and a really cost-effective way of getting a bank account. And in the early days, it's really simple, but just be aware that some of the app-based banks, it is quite a simplistic offering. There won't necessarily be a lot of support in terms of speaking to human beings or accessing services like lending, invoice financing, other aspects of banking services. So you might want to consider one of the more traditional high street banks that they can take a bit longer to set up an account, but ultimately they've got a full service offering that they can provide to you, and perhaps it's easier to actually get hold of people as well. But having the right bank account and obviously being able to access that account, whether it's online, through your phone, is obviously really important and will help you in the day-to-day running of the business. Another thing people don't often think about straight away is business insurance. This can get overlooked, but it's really important. If you're providing any kind of services to paying customers, to the public, or perhaps you've got an office, or perhaps even a bit further down the line you're going to have staff, you've got to have the right insurance in place, protecting yourself, protecting the business, and protecting the staff or the public that you're working with. So typically a business would look at getting employer's liability, professional liability, public liability insurance. But there's also something called professional indemnity insurance. And if you're a service business or you're providing a service that people are paying for, it protects you should that service fail or fall short of customers' expectations, perhaps causing them an issue or causing them some sort of financial hardship because of a result of your service, they may look to take legal action against you, and professional indemnity insurance will cover you for that claim. The next thing to think about when setting up your business is how are you actually going to get your name out there. There's lots of expensive marketing channels that I'm sure people will be only too glad to offer you when you start a business, but you've really got to be careful what you pick, because chances are you're not going to have loads of money to spend on advertising or marketing. So it's more about getting your name out there to your target audience, and there's lots of different ways of doing that. I'm not a marketing expert. I'm sure you can find lots of good content on that topic, but what I would say is try and work out what your ideal customer, your ideal client looks like. Where do they live? What demographic they fit into? Perhaps what age group they fit into as well. And if you actually work out your ideal client, it makes it a lot easier to go and find them, put yourself in front of them. Then comes things like networking groups. There's lots of business networking groups out there. What I would suggest you do is try and find the ones that work for you and stick with them. The more you go along, the more you become accustomed to the way they work and the people that attend, and you can make some really good connections, some really good friends through them as well. And the power of those networking groups can never be underestimated. These are people that are going to help you shout your name out there. They've got your back. They might have conversations with people who are asking for a certain type of service, and they'll mention you because they've met you, they know you, they've got to know you through the networking groups. Online networking sites like LinkedIn can also be a really powerful way of growing your presence and finding your ideal customers. So you've got set up, you've got your structure, you've got your bank account, and hopefully you've maybe got your first customer. Now's the time to really think about your income and costs within the business. One of the most important things we tell people when we give business advice is from day one, track your income and your expenses. We would recommend using a simple online accountancy system for this. For example, Free Agent or Xero are both really good products, really good platforms to help you track your income and your expenses. You can access them from your phone or from your computer. They're very user-friendly. And typically, if you are working with an accountant, they will have access as well. So they see the same data that you see, and they can help you make decisions, help you understand how your business is performing. It's going to pay off in the long run as well, because if you know your income and you know your costs, then when it comes to annual accounts or that annual tax return, you're going to be one step ahead. You're already going to know roughly how the business has performed. So you're going to know whether you've met your own targets, your own goals, any changes or adjustments you might want to think about in terms of the business strategy. If you don't track income and costs throughout the year, you're flying blind. We've posted quite a few videos on this topic, and we can give you some more detailed information on record keeping and good financial practices. Have a look on our YouTube channel and have a look at some of the extended videos we've done on those topics. The next thing to consider when you are running your business is taxes. Unfortunately, in the UK, taxes are a part of life. We pay taxes every day. When we go and buy things from the shops, normally those items have got VAT on. We earn money through salary, that's got tax on. It's no different to when you're running a business. There's different types of taxes you need to consider, and again, we go into this in more detail in separate videos. But if you're going to make a profit in the UK, you're going to pay tax. That's a fact. It becomes a bit of a mindset thing. If you want to avoid paying taxes, don't make a profit, make a loss, and then there won't be a tax obligation. But I would ask the question, why are you in business if you don't want to make a profit, if you don't want to make money from what you're doing? So this is where it's really important to think about taxes as a mindset thing. If you've made a profit and you're self-employed, then you'll be taxed on that profit. Now, it depends on the level of profit as to the level of tax. I'm not going to go into all the different tax rates in this video because it would make it too long and possibly too boring. But by all means, reach out to us or look at our other content online, and we can really help you with tax planning and tax efficiency. If you're running a limited company, you'll pay corporation tax on your profits. And again, there's different rates depending on the level of profit. But the fact still remains, if you're in business to make money, you have to plan taxes. Know when the taxes are due, and then you can put money aside so they're not such a shock when it comes to making the payment. Ask your accountant for those key deadlines and those key dates. Put them in your diary and work towards them, because they're not going to go away. We're never going to be in a society in the UK where the tax rates are reduced to zero or reduced drastically from what they are now. So if we're going to be in business in the UK, we have to accept that taxes are part and parcel of that journey. The final tip from me is done is better than perfect. Don't wait until everything is perfect before starting your business. Get out there, get going. You can refine and improve your processes as you go along. And good businesses will always do that. They'll always look at changes, look at what might need to be tweaked, and constantly review what they're doing to improve and get better. If you'd like to find out more, or you'd like to have a chat with us about how we can support you as advisors and as accountants, then we'd love to hear from you. Visit the website or drop us a message and get in touch. Thanks for watching.